this dude's cell phone.
Good morning, this is Brian.
Hey, good morning, Brian. This is Dan Vanderwall. How you doing today, sir?
Doing well, sir.
Oh, not too bad. I haven't heard from you guys in a couple of weeks. Trying
Yeah.
to call back and
I've got your voicemail. I've gotten your email, and I saw you're calling right now. We're still reviewing some of the correspondence that have gone back and forth between you and BCC, and trying to see if there's any avenues that we could pursue. It looks like, I mean, not knowing for certain, it looks like really the only avenue right now is legal. And I know we've talked about in the past that it's difficult to afford an attorney to pursue that route. So just figured I'd give you an update on that.
all right. Well, that being said, I'm glad all my phone calls are recorded because I wanted to let you know that if you're going to force me to an attorney, I'm also going to include the state of Michigan in my case. And I'll be honest, I don't need an attorney to take anybody to court at this moment in time. I have everything in black and white. I've got all my phone calls recorded.
Perfect.
So, yep, you're right. I know, sir, I understand completely what my constitutional rights are. Not the laws, but my constitutional rights. So, that being said, I will file a lawsuit against the state of Michigan as well. I want to let you know that the state withholds building codes. They are the ones that set the building codes. The state of Michigan are the ones who inspect the building codes. If the state of Michigan's inspector would have caught the problems that would have not passed code, I wouldn't be living in this filth today.
It's my understanding that the state of Michigan did not send an inspector to your house, your municipality inspector.
What?
Hey, sir, let's back this up, Brian. Let's back this way down the track here, bud, from right at the beginning. Where was my house built? Yes, sir. Where was my home inspected? My home was inspected in Indiana, dude, as it gets built. Do you know the building process of a home, sir?
I know the
No, sir, this is not a mobile home. Don't even say that. This is not even in the same category as a mobile home.
Nope.
I'm not a subject matter expert on this. I'm trying to get you help.
Okay, well, help would be taking ownership. I'm going to hold the state of Michigan accountable for everything that I've gone through in the last 4 years. Now, yet again, I'm being told by a state official that they are not going to do anything about this problem. You're still looking into it. Man, it's been 3 weeks since we've touched base. 3 weeks. And I've heard from you none times. I've reached out phone, I've reached out email, twice?
Yeah.
Okay, twice, yeah, because I've called every time, I'm pretty sure. So I'd have to go back and look at my phone records. Like I said, everything's recorded and everything is documented. So the state of Michigan, once something gets built to a certain point, everything stops. Hey, all the electrical's done. Don't do another thing. State of Michigan comes in, inspects all the electrical, stamps it. All right, move forward. Now you can cover up the walls. So now the drywall goes up. You know, after the inspection and the plumbing gets done. Both of those have to get inspected prior to the house being closed up. So the window wrap on my house, which all my windows should have been wrapped, per the state of Michigan. It is in the Michigan State Code Book. So yet again, sir, if my home was built in Indiana for the state of Michigan, and the state of Michigan requires by law my home to have window wrap, but it doesn't have window wrap. I'm over here scratching my head going, my house doesn't have window wrap. The code of Michigan states my home needs window wrap. Who inspects these homes? Oh, that's right. The state of Michigan inspects these homes. So who didn't catch the problem? The state of Michigan. So now that we backed the train way back up, who's at fault here? How many people, how many parties?
And correct me if I'm wrong, 'cause I'm not very familiar with the process, but it's my understanding that when the manufactured home is delivered to a site, there's an inspection that occurs
All right,
Not
now.
on everything else that's already been completed.
Nope. Now let's back this up. By law, in the state of Michigan, no inspector is allowed to re-inspect work.
Without like John.
Period.
Well, right.
So my home was re-inspected by my local inspector after 4 years, after attorneys told me to go pound sand, that they weren't going to help me fix my home. I had a builder friend of mine come over and say, dude, why is my house leaking? He pulls back some siding. He's like, yeah, dude, you don't have no window wrap. In the state of Michigan, by law, every home must have window wrap. Must. It's a must. My home does not have window wrap, which is causing my home to fiercely take on water. Like every time it rains, it takes on water. Every time it rains, I have a puddle of water inside my home on the front of my door. At my front door, I have a puddle on the inside of my home. I've got a hole in the inside of my floor where you walk through the front door because of water damage. Now, if the state of Michigan wouldn't have been lazy and hire a third-party building inspector to inspect their homes, this problem might have gotten caught. However, the state was lazy, and they were like, let's just hire a third party because we don't want to drive down to Indiana just to check every home. Oh, okay. Now, that being said, now the state's at fault. The state didn't hire a real inspector. At this point in time, the state hired a third-party inspector. Who's to say that inspector is a real inspector? Who's to say that inspector even inspects for Michigan? Nope, they didn't. They hired a building inspector out of Indiana. Shame on you. Why would they do something like that? Outsource work like that. Shame on you people. So, yet again, I'm holding Michigan accountable. I'm holding the state of Michigan accountable. When I file my lawsuit, you guys are going right down with me then. If you don't want to help solve my problem, that's fine. It's part of your problem too.
No, I understand.
So, like I said, that being said,
If he understands that it's their problem too, then why isn't he helping us?
Right.
Why aren't they helping us?
Right, that's what I'm saying. You understand that the problem lies between Michigan, but yet there's nothing being done. The state, no, the state doesn't want to be accountable for this situation. The state is trying to get out of the problem. They're in this problem. This is part of my state's problem. So get this.
We will try and help you anyway with the law.
Within the law, what you guys are doing is straight unconstitutional. You guys are making laws and then not abiding by them. You guys are making, a matter of fact, you guys are making fictitious laws. You guys are making laws that trump other people's constitutional rights. Every day you guys do this. Did you know that I also do audits? Perfect. Yet again, this is why I record the State of Michigan conversations. So, yet again, you're going to sit here and tell me the state has nothing to do with this, but the state has everything to do with it. If the state makes guidelines and they set guidelines and they have inspectors to inspect to make sure the guidelines are met, but then the state hires a third party and something isn't met, whose fault is it? I'm just curious. Whose fault is it? Because I'll be honest, at this moment in time, I'm not even leaning on the builder's fault. I'm leaning on it's all the state of Michigan's fault. Because if the state would have done their job and actually done the quality control and the inspections like they should, this problem would have gotten caught. However, this problem didn't get caught. So, this is going to fall back on the state. Check this out. A builder can build anything he wants. As a matter of fact, he's not even by law. He does not even have to build it correct. However, when the state comes in and inspects it, if it's not done by law, guess what doesn't pass? That builder's work. It has nothing even to do with the builder. As a matter of fact, I can build anything I want in the state of Michigan. I can build anything I want. But the state requires me to have a license, apparently, unless I'm doing my own home project. However, if I want to go do another project and go do a cash job, as long as that homeowner has an inspector come in and inspect that job and it passes, it's fine, dude. I don't even technically need a license then, because it's the inspector's job to catch the problem. It's not my job to build it right. I mean, technically it is, but at the same token, if I build it wrong,
You're not going to do anything anyway.
yeah, whose fault is it? Like, it's the inspector's fault to fix the problem or to find the problem. There should be no problems because either A, these guys are Michigan state builders. They actually have a license to build, so they should know the codes. And then on top of that, B, just to make sure that there is no problems, the state, we fund as the people, we fund the state of Michigan, all these people to do their jobs, okay? Not sit around and do nothing about their jobs. These people sit around and push a pencil all day long, making up all these rules and these laws about how houses should be built, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Houses have been built for hundreds of years, but they keep making these stupid-ass rules. Well, in the meantime, one of these stupid-ass rules that the state of Michigan made, they didn't abide by it. The state came in and inspected this home and passed this home as a legal state of Michigan home. So if anything is happening to my family in the meantime, because it has a state stamp on it, I'm coming after the state. I'm going to hold the state accountable for anything that happens to me or my family.
They passed it when it shouldn't have been passed.
Yep, you guys.
The state should have said, no, this is not this house.
Yep, you guys should have
That's
never
what you
passed
should
this
have done.
home.
It shouldn't have been passed.
Yep, I want you guys to get this through you guys' thick heads over there in the state.
All the third-party inspectors
Yep.
that was hired. I'm serious.
My
We
next-
messed up.
Yep, my next time you hear this will be live. Like, I'm going to take this conversation and all the other conversations, I'm going to put it into a live video. I'm going to throw it on YouTube, dude. I'm going to bring this right about it, dude. Like, I'm not even playing games anymore, Brian. I'm done playing games. I've been dealing with Michigan now for almost 2 years. And then you guys is,
And because of COVID.
yeah, you guys are taking Bill or Keith Lambert's word and closing our case. Who's one guy to close my case? That's it. One guy, one man's opinion closed my case, my family.
I'm curious.
This is what we have to live
Why
by?
would the company order all of our new doors and everything, give them to the contractor to have the work be done, if this was not a real thing?
Right, and then
This is
back out.
baloney.
Yep, and then
Our
they
son
backed
got
out.
COVID.
They backed out
and
because of the mold.
The mold inspection.
Yep, so now that you know that we have mold in our home, yeah, you guys should probably do something about it. Like I said, I'll be honest, I don't need an attorney to take you guys to court. I can just file my paperwork. And when I file my paperwork, like I said, I'm bringing everybody to the table. I'm holding every single person accountable for this. Every person, I will label you. I'm going to label Rachel in the Senate. I will label every single person in my complaint that ever heard from me. And I've got everything on recording. I will hold everybody accountable for this.
Yep, that's your right, sir.
I know what my rights are, Brian, but I want the state to do something. And you're telling me that they're not going to do nothing. You're telling me that they're saying it's the builder's fault. Well, you're right. The builder built it. You are right, sir. The builder built it. However, did the state of Michigan do their job? Did they inspect the home rightfully? Did they inspect it right? No, Brian, they didn't, because my local building inspector, after we bitched, Keith Lambert John talked to Keith. Keith then gave our local building inspector the right to re-inspect my home. So by law in the state of Michigan, you're not allowed to re-inspect any inspector's work, period. And I don't care, you can go look that law up. That is a law. That's for real. So if I knew that and I got in bed with a good inspector and I was like, hey man, I tell you what, I can cheat this job. As a matter of fact, I can cheat every job. $5,000. I'll give you $1,000 off the head. Everyone, all you gotta do is stamp it. If you stamp that paperwork, we cover up the booger and we send it on its way, and nobody will ever know because the state's not allowed to re-inspect my home. My local building inspector, you're right, absolutely 100% you're right. He was on this site the day that it was put on my foundation. The day it was put here. The only thing he had legalities to do was make sure my house was set properly. And if you call my inspector, he passed it with a D-. As a matter of fact, he didn't even want to pass the set to this house. So today, I wish he wouldn't have, but he did. So yet again, now I'm dealing with. But
the wrong size.
You're right. It was the wrong size. This house is actually built 4 inches too big from their own code. They had their own blueprint.
And
I really, like I really wish you guys would have just, no offense, done more diligent research.
Before you close our case.
Yep, before everybody closed my case, and then no offense, like even you, and then my Senate, like you guys, that's so funny. Like I hear from my Senate, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna send this to our attorneys. I bet you are. I bet you're gonna send that to your attorneys. You're gonna try to cover your ass.
Yeah, so now they're not gonna help us, and now they have
So yet again, yeah. I asked Rachel 3 times. I said, does your attorney have our best interest or your best interest? And I didn't get a response. 3 times I asked that question. And finally she answered, oh, they have your best interest. If they have my best interest, then why ain't something done about it? I know once attorneys get involved, things start moving. But why hasn't nothing got done about my stuff? I haven't heard anything. Like, I tell you guys my problem, then I get ghosted for months. Like, I don't hear anything. Like, how long does it really take, dude?
It was COVID. Well,
like, how long does it really take to solve a big problem? Like, this is a big problem. This isn't something like, hey, man, my lunch money got stolen. Like, this is my home. This is something like, this is an asset to my life. And then I rely on the state of Michigan as an inspector to make sure that it is built properly, but it's not built properly. So could you go back and ask maybe the state how the hell they think that they're not held responsible for this? Because I want to know. I want to know why the state thinks that they're not held responsible at all. Like, they don't have a leg in this game. They got more leg in this game than the builder. And I'll be honest, I'll prove it in court. Because like I said, anybody can build it. Anyone. Only certain can inspect to make sure that it passes. And you guys messed up because you passed my stuff and it doesn't pass. So I just want to know, man, what's going to happen? What's the next step? When are you guys, you're going to get somebody in here to fix my home or replace my home? What's going on? Like, that's all I want to know is when it's getting done.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like from reaching out to builder and manufacturer staff to try and attempt to fix some of the mistakes they made. I know in talking to you and speaking with staff at BCC, those repairs we have to install they stop.
Yep, because the mold. Okay, so what are we going to do about this problem then? Because yet again, like I said, it's the state's problem.
we want our house fixed.
The state literally passed a home that was not supposed to be brought to Michigan. The state did. Nobody else did, dude. Nobody else. Nobody else just built this house and put it on this foundation. The state of Michigan passed every square inch of this home to be put onto this foundation, and it was built wrong. Yeah, my local inspector had to do the set of the house itself, make sure it was strapped down, bolted down, whatever. He had to make sure the set was good. He had to make sure that our fire, all the smoke alarms were all intact and working. Wanted to make sure we had, our windows in the basement or whatever, our basement stairs had, those were the things that he could physically do. That was it. Other than that, he couldn't get on the roof. He couldn't make sure it was shingled right. He couldn't get into the plumbing. He couldn't get into the electrical. He wasn't allowed to take siding off the house to make sure it had window wrap, door wrap, or any of that. He wasn't allowed to do any of that. So, yet again, that was the state's fault because they hired a third-party contractor to inspect my home. And yet again, who's to say this dude isn't in bed with this other dude and they're just doing it? How do we, a matter of fact, at this point in time, Brian, how do we know 100, 200, 500 other families haven't even already gone through this? And these other families are just like, they don't even know what to do either. This is ridiculous. Like, I'll be honest, I'm holding the state accountable at all costs at this moment in time. Like, I want something done about it. And as a matter of fact, I want, when I'm in business and I'm out doing jobs, they have to be done in a timely manner. I don't just get to drag my feet on a job. This job will take me a week, but then it takes me like 3 weeks or 4 weeks and it's still not done, and these customers are all pissed off. It doesn't work like that. To me, this is business. Yes, I'm asking you for a timeline. The same thing I asked that company for. I want a timeline. I want to know when. I want to know how long you're going to be in my house, how long it's going to take you to fix it. You're not going to come here for one day, work from 7 until 9 o'clock at night, and then come back 3 days later and do some more work. No, that's not how my family works. I got a wife and 4 kids in this house. 3 of my children are still in school. We already let that shit fly once. It's not happening again. I'm a businessman. I'm going to control this like it's business. This is how it's going to work, just like business. This is business to me. When I work with the state, that's business. And I'm going to hold everybody accountable. No, I'm not. This is ridiculous. Brian, what are we going to do? What's the time frame? I want a time frame, and I want to know what's going on. Because right now I got nothing.
Yeah, no, I can't give you a definite timeline. I can't predict the future. I can't move mountains. I will be in touch with you. And we can continue chipping away at this, trying to see if there's any kind of avenue we can proceed on that helps you.
Where's the highest person on the food chain? Who's your boss?
Have you reached out to the governor's office? Or you can reach out. It sounds like you reached out to your legislator. They oftentimes have the ability to pass laws. They could introduce a bill that would provide restitution for cases like this. Those are just some things that come to mind. Have you tried reaching back out to the manufacturer lately?
No, they sent us lawyers letters.
I was gonna say I got letters from their lawyers. Like, if I want to call them, I got to call their attorneys.
Yeah, and I recall telling me that, but it sounded like that might have been back in the summer.
No, they've sent multiple letters now.
Okay.
So, and then yet again, every time we tell the state, then they come back and write the state these boo-hoo sad stories about how we're not letting them in their house. Are you serious? What do you mean? No, you're right. I'm not letting you in my house. Because you come in here one day from 7 and you work until 9 and you're blowing insulation in my attic while I'm trying to have dinner. Dude, this is ridiculous. No other business works like that. None.
Well, we just asked for a timeline. That's all. They did come in. They did do some stuff. And
Then we hand them a mold report, and then they're like, yeah, we're not going to, yep, we're done. We're done. So I want it fixed. I want to know who's going to contact me. I want somebody to contact me about this matter.
And not in a letter.
Yeah, not in a letter. I want a phone call. Like I said, all my phone calls are recorded. I'm okay with that. I don't need a letter. I don't need anything in black and white. I do a lot of video and a lot of audio. I'd prefer that. Okay, well, what about this is coming down to health issues in my family's life. So now this is more or less like life or death. Life or death does not mean anything.
Yeah, no, it means a lot.
But you're telling me that it doesn't mean shit because I'm still bending these same pair of shoes, and I'm telling you, my family's health is deteriorating because of the situations we're living in. But nothing is being done. Nobody cares. You're right, Brian. This is a big animal. I need a new house for my family. Like, it is a big deal. So are we supposed to just go live in a motorhome out on our property because it's healthier for us to be in a motorhome and pack 6 of us in a motorhome so we can be healthy? Like, is that what I'm supposed to do until you guys figure this out, or what?
You're gonna have to do what's best for you and your family, sir.
Well, then I'll see you in court, because that's what's going to be best for me and my family. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's what's going to be best for my family. Obviously, the state doesn't want anything to do with this. You're telling me that it's a big problem. You're telling me, I've already heard it like 3 different times on this phone conversation, yet again, that's being recorded, that this is a big problem. It's a big animal. A matter of fact, it's one too big that the state even wants to step into. That's what you're telling me. Yes.
You are abandoning us.
The state of Michigan is literally abandoning us we have constitutional rights. We hire the state of Michigan. You are a tax-paid employee, and you're abandoning us. That's wonderful. So wait. You're sorry I feel that way? Hey, check this out, Brian. I have proof it's that way. Yet again, I've had to reach out to you how many times, sir? I've wrote you how many emails? I've given you so much information proving my point of situation, and you're over here going, man, this is a big thing. It's for real. It is for real. What do I do? What do I do? I don't even know what to do. So you're gonna abandon the situation?
No, I don't think anyone's abandoning it. I mean,
No, you don't?
proceed through legal means.
No. I shouldn't have to proceed through legal means, sir. Why would I have to proceed through legal means? There is a state of Michigan code. You know what? Matter of fact, I don't have to go through any legal means. If I was you, I would try. Yeah, you want to cover your own ass because you don't want to get in trouble. You want to cover the state's ass. The state, like I said, the state right now is getting pinned down. Their inspectors are held at fault. That's a state at state level. These are all state-paid employees that this is going off from. And because it's a state problem, you guys want to abandon the situation.
I'll repeat myself. We're going to try and help you any way we can.
How and when?
I can't give you a definite.
Well, what is he going to do?
How?
As soon as we hang up, what are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do
I
to
want
be
to know what
proactive
Brian
about
is going to do.
Yeah, what are you going to do to be proactive about my situation, Brian? As a state-paid employee, what are you going to do?
Reach out to my contacts and ask them if there's any progress made on the case and advice to help remedy.
When was the last time you did that?
And who was it? Who did he contact?
BBC.
Who's that? Yeah, they don't like us. They closed our case without even talking to us.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what you don't understand.
Who's above these people, man? Like, yeah, I'm tired of this stuff, dude. Who's above? Who's the boss of the boss of the boss?
They run that bureau.
Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll call Arlene Hawk.
That's the leadership of that bureau.
Who does?
Keith Lambert and Alicia Gessler are the 2 directors of that bureau.
Okay, and then who's in charge of that bureau? They're bullshit, dude. Who's in charge of the bureau, dude, as a state? Who's in charge of that department, dude? Don't tell me those are the only 2 idiots over there that are in charge.
Arlene Hawk. I'll call the director, Arlene Hawk. I know who it is.
The director of the entire department, Arlene Hawk, she serves like the governor's service office.
Okay, then if I was you, I would try to get me Arlene Hawk's contact information, because I'll be honest, like I said, at this point in time, I feel like you're abandoning my situation too. You tell me that this case isn't important, and every, like 2 weeks ago, we've been in contact 3 weeks, so you tried 1 week, and then what did you do for the last 2 weeks? If this is not a big enough case for somebody, I don't know what is, man. Like, I really don't know what is right now in my life. All I know is I pay a lot of tax dollars to a lot of people, and a lot of people I feel are not doing their job, especially diligently. I slave every single day, and I'll be honest, man, I don't feel like some of you guys do.
I'm sorry you feel that way. And I'm sure. I wish I could change your mind. And I can assure you people are working. Unfortunately, too, I've got a meeting at 8:30, and I need to wrap this up. But I appreciate you calling today. It was good talking to you. And like I said, hopefully we can reach an outcome that everyone likes. I'm sorry you're frustrated.
Wow. And you know what, Brian? I'm going to take this conversation. I'm going public with it.
Frustrated?
I promise,
He's
man.
sorry we're
I'm gonna
frustrated.
make you look like such a fool right
Go get allergy shots
now. Yeah, I'm gonna
every
make you look like
Wednesday.
such a fool right now. And I'm gonna even add the whole end of this conversation, because I want everybody to know it.
Sorry you're threatening me, but
I'm not threatening you, dude.
I'm trying to help you.
No,
I understand that you're frustrated.
no, I'm taking it public.
That's fine. You're right.
So why? Hey, how am I threatening you if those are within my rights? How am I threatening you if those are within my rights, Brian?
It sounds like a threat, sir.
No, it's not.
To say that
Okay.
To say that I'm going to take this phone conversation public is a threat?
You can do whatever you want.
Are you, Brian? I have a constitutional right of freedom of speech, bud.
I agree.
And when you can prove that I'm breaking the law, I suggest you do something about it. In the meantime, don't tell me how to talk, because you're infringing my constitutional rights.
I'm not telling you how to talk, sir.
Yeah, you're telling me I'm threatening you. You're telling me how I'm talking. How is I'm going to make this phone conversation public a threat? How is that? If those are my legal rights, if those are my legal constitutional rights, how is that a threat?
You go back and listen to everything you just told me.
Yep.
I think that'll be readily apparent.
You'll be able to hear it live here soon.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Have a good meeting, Brian. I'm sure that's way more important. I'm sure it's way more important.
I will. It's good talking to you. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Thanks, Brian.